So I grew up in a tiny town in Montana. It only had 30 people. Very, very small. So the wide open landscape gave me both freedom and uncertainty. Many of us share that uncertainty in life, actually. We get stuck in looping thoughts. We feel unsure about our path and reach for any chance that seems to matter. And I've seen friends, chase online business ideas. Some move to new cities to find connections, and others fall into routines that slowly drain their spirit. When nothing seems to work, it's tempting to accept that maybe the ordinary life is all we're meant for. So I used to stand at the edge of my dad's land, just looking around in the mountains, and they look inviting when you're small and a kid, but they also look intimidating at the same time. Big decisions in life can be tricky, and we want to explore new paths, but it's often unclear on which way to go. So sometimes it feels just easier to stay put, even if we're not happy exactly where we are. And that's unfortunately the path that everybody falls into because they get comfortable. And that's why you get stuck. In Montana, we understand adaptation, and our winters demand it. Yet somehow we forget this wisdom when navigating life's paths. It's really no different than the weather. As kids, we're fearless. We climbed trees, we built forts, we followed creeks. We also probably ate some berries that we shouldn't have ate. You come home with scratches and you got stories to tell. Each mini adventure taught me valuable things. Somewhere along the way, many of us learned to stick to established paths instead of creating our own. The education system trained us to become specialists, to pick one narrow path and stick to it. Go to college if you want to be successful. Bullshit. Nobody at 18 years old knows what the fuck that they want to do with their life. Most people at 40 years old don't know what they still want to do with their life because they're stuck on this rotisserie chicken of a wheel on things that they're doing just to pay their bills and not really do the stuff that they actually really want to do. In Montana, you can be the rancher, or you can learn how to run equipment, or fix shit. You can drive semis, or you can pick up, some other type of skill, working concrete, or some other type of manual labor job. But there's not really a lot of options where I come from that's really available. And there's definitely not anybody that's running e-commerce brands. So that really limits your natural ability to adapt and create in various aspects of your life. And I'll never forget, I had a high school counselor who thought that I would be a failure just because I sucked at school. And when I'm telling you I say I sucked at school, I was the worst. I hated every being of it in my body. And when I'm saying I was bad at school, I was very bad at school. I hated everything to do with it besides sports. The only reason I even cared to go to school was to play sports. I cheated on everything that I possibly could cheat on. I did the most minimal amount of work that you could possibly do. And finally, when I was a senior, I got a little bit better grades, but half of my afternoon was shop classes. And I enjoyed, welding and building shit. And so I was finally at a decent GPA, 3.2 I think I got. I might have got up to a 3.4 is the highest. But moral to my story is the grades that you get in high school have absolutely zero effect on how well you're going to do in your adult life. I'm living proof of it. So, fast forward to today, even though he said the things that he said about me, I'm probably I am one of the most successful business people that has ever come out of my town, and it's not even close. And I realize that many of us get pushed into narrow paths, and we should be encouraged to explore all of our abilities instead. In Montana, everybody knows where the mountains are. They're like your compass. In life, our mistakes serve the same purpose, showing us which way not to go. And you're never going to have perfect clarity about what you want. Life changes all the time. What you want today could shift tomorrow. But you gain clarity about what you don't want, and that knowledge is far more valuable than any other map. When I left my small town, I wasn't sure what I wanted. I just knew that I needed something different, and each step that I took taught me something a little bit different, even when that something was Never again. I tried working sales jobs, I drove dump trucks, I worked in the oil fields, I lived in small towns basically my entire life. But I needed more resources, more motivation. And these jobs weren't failures. To me, they were just guideposts. They were just as valuable as discovering what I actually enjoyed. And that's coming up with products or a business idea in my head and turning it into something that people desire and want and need. I also found out pretty quick that I was just a shitty employee. A local diner in my hometown had a sign that I saw when I was growing up. It said, "Not all who wander are lost." And I think about that quite a bit. And it seems like confusion to others when you're often discovering your own path step by step. And when you live up there, you don't sugarcoat tough situations. A blizzard's a blizzard, and pretending it's a little flurry isn't going to keep you warm. So you just got to take an honest look at where you are now, what parts of your life feel like a freezing cold February morning that you dread facing, and you just need to write them down without mercy. And this isn't negativity, it's clarity. So how many times do you hear about people complain about the jobs that they hate, things that they despise doing? People often avoid change because they can't face tough situations, like an injury or pressure from your partner. Don't wait for your own version of misery to finally acknowledge what isn't working. When spring comes to Montana after a long winter, you really appreciate it. And you know what's coming. Golf and sundresses. Am I right, fellas? This same goes for creating a better life. The gap between what you dislike and what you desire fuels change. So give yourself a season to change. Understand life's seasons. Nothing transforms overnight. But given 3 months, winter always yields to a spring. Give yourself a full season, 3 months, to try something new. It could be learning a new skill, starting a simple business, or exploring a different community. Your first tries won't be perfect. Just like spring shoots, they might not look great, but they're an important start. Start with something small. I think I'll try photography. Maybe I'll learn about investing. These aren't commitments to a lifetime career. They're just seeds planted to see what might grow, what might interest you, what might carry on. You might get bored after a couple weeks. That's fine. But self-educating is so important. Most people quit learning after high school and they never acquire any new skills, which is part of the reason why they're stuck in the same place for decades. Consistency matters way more than intensity. In farming, daily attention to crops yield better results than occasional frantic effort. The same thing applies to building a new direction in life. Living in Montana taught me that some of my best decisions look foolish to others. The rancher who plants a different crop when everyone else is sticking to a tradition. The person who builds a house when others, the only thing they see is emptiness. Taking calculated risks create growth. Just as our open spaces let you breathe, pushing your limits helps your mind grow as well. I've seen people change when they allow themselves to want more than what they actually have. When winter's coming, you're not going to delay chopping wood. My friend's uncle decided to build a house himself despite having no experience. And he said, not having a roof over your head's pretty fucking motivating. And he learned faster than he even thought he could do it. Nothing worth having in life is very easy. If success was simple, everybody'd have it. And it wouldn't be as attractive as it is. Be honest about what's not working in your life. Like checking a map to see where you actually are, not where you wish you were. Make one decision that pushes you in a new direction. It doesn't have to be dramatic, just authentic. Learn like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Every skill you acquire opens doors that you couldn't see before. In Montana, we know there's rarely one perfect trail to the summit, but the joy comes from finding your own way through the landscape, using the mountains and the stars as your guide. Choose your own path through the learning and your failing. Your life's journey deserves the same freedom of exploration. As we say back home, the view changes for the person who climbs. Whatever mountain you're facing, take that first step up. The perspective from even a little higher will show you the possibilities that you can see from where you're standing right now. that's it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe.